Whoa, it's been 40 devlogs and we just started on the player stats. We are so behind. Let's just get right into this. How are you guys doing today? It's been one hectic week for us, but we do hope it's been a little better for you guys. Before we hop right into this video, if you guys do want to support us and this project, there is a Patreon down in the description below. But with that, let's hop right into this video and not waste your guys' time. To start off this week, I was still waiting for Captain Conrad to finish up the last minor details on the movement for the AI, so I decided to clean up the sword class. The biggest reason I wanted to rework this class was because I felt the sword had too many stats on the tooltip. I really didn't want the player to read through about 5 to 7 stats just to determine which weapon was better, so I finally decided it was time to clean up this old class. The first step was making the weapon class, which is the parent to the sword class, a bit better. I wanted it to have the basic information like the damage and the critical multiplier, so every child of that script will have those basic stats. Because before, each type of weapon had the same stat declared multiple times in each of the classes, so the bow and the sword both had a declaration for the damage stat, which is like no bueno. So with this new way, any weapon in the future would already come with these generic weapon stats, and it would just make it a ton easier. And you know what, now that going through it, I don't know why I didn't do this way earlier, but you know, what is done is done. The next fix I did to limit the number of stats per weapon was actually to give the player some of his own stats. The biggest one I did want to transfer over to become a player stat instead of a weapon stat was the critical chance. In the future, I want the player to be able to upgrade his own critical chance instead of relying on a weapon to have a good chance on it. This also marks the first player stat to be implemented into Windshire, you know, if you don't kind of include the max health and stamina. So anyways, after quite some time on transferring over the critical chance over to a player stat, I was really excited to make a player stat UI. I wanted a simple UI element to showcase what the current stats for the player are. So with a few boxes created, slapped on a couple titles, it was finally time to program the stat panel. This came with its own set of challenges, but I'd like to think I handled it decently. I definitely want to go and revisit the system at some point and make it prettier, but for now it does what it needs to do. The final thing I did implement into the stats panel was it for to showcase the max health and the max stamina for the player, because in the future I think it would be pretty cool for the player to upgrade those stats in addition to the other stats that he will have. So after working on the weapon class, I finally was super excited to get a damage range all set up. This is a feature that was missing in our project for quite some time, but now that it's in, it feels way more natural to play, which is kind of weird to say. Though it might have been a simple system to implement on paper, and honestly it should have been quite easy, but past me just really made this difficult. It was quite difficult to do in our current system. Basically, we have a generic class that allows us to create any stat we want with one simple line of code. This system I created a while ago makes these stats simple, but the code behind it became a bit messy. It's not anything special per se, but with a lot of optional arguments, it became quite annoying to read what each stat would do and be. So after discussing the system with Captain Conrad, we finally agreed just to make all of the arguments mandatory, and this just made the whole system so much easier. With this all set up, it was finally time to set up the damage range. It didn't take too long, just input the minimum and the maximum damage values and randomize it when you tried to attack something. The only sort of annoying part was to add this system to the tooltips. It took a second to get it done well, but thankfully, and as you guys can see, we got it in and working fine. Since the last devlog, I've been kind of in a huge hot juice kind of feels fun rampage, and this definitely has not slowed down this week. When I was playing around with the bow and arrow, I felt that the impact was just not hitting right. Then I kind of remembered something from my remaking CSGO in 1 day video, and that was particles. So I decided to add some in, and oh boy does this look 100 times better. After finishing that effect, I was going through some recent comments, and a comment by Toonie really opened my eyes to something. He suggested that the camera should zoom in when the bow is drawn, and I was like, oh boy, I'ma just yoink. It didn't take too long, but the solution I used wasn't the best way of doing it, but as you guys can tell, the crosshair actually moves slightly to the left when the bow is drawn, and that's due to the FOV shifting towards the center of the player. This is something I definitely want to look back to in a future video, but for now this works well enough that I'll just leave it as is for now. But with both of these systems in place, the range combat just feels so much better and way more impactful than before. I feel like I say that every devlog, but it is. Now you may think that this is the end for the juice, but oh no, we're just beginning. In the next upcoming week, I intend to give Melee a nice fresh squeeze of juice and add in a few final touches to the ranged combat. And like I say every single devlog, here is what you guys have been looking for this entire time. Due to school, our modelers have been extremely busy recently, but we do have a few models to show you. Perforator was able to create these awesome looking stone walls, and I am really excited to use these in our world. They will give the world a more low poly look, which is something I'm definitely trying to accomplish. While he worked on the walls, Excelsius made a stick! Or a staff, whichever floats your boat. But it honestly looks amazing. If you guys haven't seen Excelsius's recent work, join our Discord and watch out for this feedback channel. He posts some awesome looking sword models there. Now a bit ago we announced that we had a website in the works, and I'm really excited to tell you guys that it is finally finished. Our awesome web developer Dennis has been working really hard on bringing the best looking website out to you guys. If you guys are interested in checking out the website, go down in the description below and give it a look. It's awesome and I love it. Also go check out Dennis if you guys are planning to create your own website. Links are down in the description below. All of these awesome developments going on in the engine, I also stepped back and just decided what we should do to continue forward, which I feel like I should do quite more, but I really don't. But with the end of the year quickly following suit, I wanted to create some goals for ourselves to hit by the end of 2020. In addition, we recently surpassed 1900 subscribers, and I just wanted to thank every single one of you guys. I started Hyve way back in December of 2019, and in less than a year we were able to gain an awesome community. So thank you guys for the awesome support, and in addition, thank you to our awesome Patreon supporters that allow us to slowly take this hobby project and make it something bigger. Now this is something you guys have been waiting for quite some time. Last month we announced we would be doing a giveaway. This giveaway would include some awesome and useful Unity assets and a few games made in Unity. If you guys are interested in getting some awesome assets such as the low poly ultimate pack, monster sounds and atmosphere sound effects pack, polygon packs, and much more, join our Discord where we will be announcing how to enter and join the giveaway. It's 100% free, and I wanted to thank our patrons for allowing us to do this awesome giveaway. And on that final note, thank you all for watching this devlog. It's been crazy recently, but I'm super excited for the near future. So keep your eyes open and toes peeled. I don't even know why I said that. We are all getting really close to implementing Wise into our project and making the AI feel 3 times as amazing as it did before. Well, hopefully 3 times better. Hope we really don't step backwards. But anyways, I wanted to thank our awesome Patreons again this month. Let's give a huge thank you to Tofster and Token. They have been an awesome help for this project. Not only them, but Inconspicuous, Max, Tajna, Delta, Windshire, and our awesome new Patreon, Michael. Thank you guys for the support, it really means a lot. And on that final note, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next devlog.